Hello. Today we're going to do something a little different to my normal review videos. It's more of a comparison and an opinion that I'm going to offer relating to two saddles, my Brooks C17 and my Ergon SMC. So just a few stats. The C17 is made from natural rubber with a nylon textured top. It measures 16 centimeters wide, which is about 6.25 inches, weighs 464 grams, steel rails. The cost about £115 or $160. It's got this, well, it's got no padding really. It's just rigid, but it's very rigid. It's not rigid, it's very flexible, so it bends, and that's the vulcanized rubber, but no padding. The Ergon SMC is made from a nylon shell with an orthopedic foam and a microfiber cover. It measures the same, 16 centimeters, which is 6¼ inches, weighs 325 grams. Steel rails, it's a bit cheaper, it costs £70 or $80. But as you can see, it's padded. Not a huge amount of give in it, but it is definitely padded. And that's the main difference between the two. So I'm no expert, but as I understand it, and for me anyway, the thing I want to avoid and the thing that I want from every saddle I use to prevent saddle sores, basically. I have had experience with them and they're not nice. And I've been looking into it, picked some stuff up. Whilst I was on the GDMBR, I got a lot of advice from other people and, you know, people with a lot more experience than me. And there's two things really, as far as I understand, that can cause saddle sores, or they can manifest in two different ways. It can be through chafing. That could be a saddle that's the wrong size. It could be too wide and cause rubbing. It could be caused by pressure sores. So on non-padded saddles, sometimes you can just get, you know, as you'd imagine, pressure sores. And too much padding, which can cause rubbing and friction. So that's some of the issues. Additionally, if you're riding all day, multiple days in a row, and I'm talking about, you know, long distance trails, you're going to get issues with bacteria. Bacteria is going to breed. It's a horrible way of putting it, but it is in you know, in your clothing. You're wet all day, you're sweating a lot, and then you can get pimples, which are infected hair follicles, I think. Anyway, these pimples then obviously are going to cause issues and saddle sores. They can, ulcerate, where the skin breaks, and then of course you're in a lot of danger. That could even lead to sepsis, and I have heard of people having issues along those lines. So very serious conditions. So you need a saddle really that's going to help prevent saddle sores of any form. So my C17, if you don't follow my main channel, and the link is below, I cycled the GDMBR in 2023. And I started with this, the Brooks C17, after getting multiple recommendations from people in my comments. I'm a complete novice, and I was even more of a novice before I started. So this was the saddle that was recommended the most, along with padded shorts. So I think that's the deal. It's not padded. You need padded shorts, unless, I imagine, you're a hardcore cyclist and you do it a lot. Maybe you wouldn't need it, but that's what I did anyway, and it worked great until I started getting the pimple type saddle sores. So that was the bacterial kind of infection, and I believe it was caused by wearing cycling shorts, padded shorts, because they were wet and they were sweaty, as disgusting as it is, and I believe bacteria bred in those shorts and caused these infections. I did have problems with ulcerations as well, so it was not pleasant. I had to use topical creams, all that sort of stuff, to manage it, which I successfully did to a point. But what happened, I decided to ditch the padded shorts. I thought it would be a lot easier and safer to just put up with the rigid, uncomfortable saddle, which it was, rather than try and deal with the saddle sores. And they did clear up. It was a lot easier just to, you know, keep normal underwear clean, rinse them out. When they did get wet, they dried quicker. So I sent my padded shorts home and ended up with this saddle The saddle sores did clear up, but as you can see, this is extremely rigid. It does have some flex, but I did have issues with bruising, what I guess were pressure sores. So it wasn't comfortable. But I was halfway through the trail. I didn't want to mess around with it. I decided to stick with the saddle, put up with the discomfort, and crack on to the end. My theory was changing saddles mid-trip could have caused more problems, and provided the saddle sores were in check, not ulcerated, not getting infected, I thought I'm just going to live with it, and it was the right thing to do. Because I made it to the end, and by the time I got to the end, I was okay. I still had discomfort. It wasn't nice, but I made it. So this saddle did well. So whilst on the GDMBR, a good friend of mine who I rode with for a large portion of it was using this saddle. There's a caterpillar on it. I don't think there was one on his. I'll put him out the way, safe. This Ergon SMC, it's just the standard one, it's not the gel one. So it does have some padding, and he was very experienced. He's done a lot of road touring, a lot of road touring. So he was what I would consider an expert. And I did have a quick try on his bike, and I loved the flat profile of this saddle, and it just felt so nice because of the small amount of padding. So I decided when I got back from the GDMBR to replace my Brooks saddle with this, the Ergon SMC. This is the medium to large version. I've used this now for multiple rides since I've been back, notably on my tour around France and Spain. I probably 40, maybe 30 to 40 different rides in total. So I think I've given it a good, fair go. I'm not jumping to conclusions, but it is so comfortable. It's remarkable how comfortable it is. Like I said, I'm not an expert, and I have experience of only 3 or 4 saddles, but this is by far the most comfortable for me. It's just, I don't know what it is. Maybe it just suits me. I'm not sure. Everyone is different, but for me, I'm definitely not going back. This is the saddle for me, and as long as they keep making it, I'm going to stick with it. I don't use cycling shorts anymore, so I don't use padded shorts, and I feel I don't need to with this saddle. And, recently I did a 100-mile ride, which again features on the main channel, and I had absolutely no issues. I felt absolutely perfect. There was no chafing, no rubbing, nothing at all. So I'm really pleased with this saddle. The Brooks is, nothing wrong with it if you use padded shorts. That's my theory. Then it's probably great, but as I said earlier, for me anyway, on long through rides, multi-day tours, I don't want to use padded shorts, and this is the saddle that I'll be taking on the TransAm later in the year. I say later in the year, it's within 1 month. And again, if you want to see that journey and see how it performs, subscribe to my main channel. That's the 3rd time I've said it. If you haven't done it by now, you're not going to, are you? So I'll give up. Anyway, this is the saddle for me. I love this thing. So yeah, it's going to come with me on the TransAm. This, I don't know what I'll do with this. It's fine, it did the job, but I don't think I'm going to use it now. As for how it held up, if you're interested, so that was 3,000 miles, and it's pretty much like new. I mean, a tiny little bit of fraying on the outside there, you might be able to see. But yeah, as for the Ergon, I'll let you know once I've done the TransAm to let you know how it holds up to that. But I'm expecting good things. So, to summarise, bearing in mind, as I've already stated, I'm no expert, and I'm looking to learn from this. I'm trying to figure out why you would opt to go with a non-padded saddle and cycling shorts over a padded saddle. I just can't, for the life of me, figure out why you would do that. There's obviously a reason, because a lot of people do it. I've seen the Tour Divide racers use padded shorts. It could be, I'm guessing, to do with the padded nature of the saddle affecting your pedal stroke, something like that, which of course if you're a racer, yeah, that's a big deal, but I'm far from a racer. Anyway, I'd appreciate your opinions. Let me know what you think, and if you can educate me, please do, because I am learning as we go along, and that's why I precursored this video with the information that I am not an expert. This is my opinion, and that's all it is. So thank you for watching, and I shall see you in the next review video.